Okay, this is a slightly longer review than the short one because I just cover the basics on that really fast, and I'll show a little more in depth on this. I'm reviewing Roundhouse cars in general for weathering and graffiti work. There's something Roundhouse uses as their finish coat, and I don't know what it is, and they're the only car that I come across this. It's a really hard coat, however they finish their cars, which is great if you don't want to ever have anything. If you're working on the layout and you've got a car there, and say you're working on plaster and you spat or something, you should be able to get it right off, and nothing's going to penetrate. That's for sure. So this is a Roundhouse 5-bay rapid discharge hopper, SSIX reporting marks, yellow, hard color to work with to begin with, and you'll be able to see here. There's definitely streaking going on, which I don't get on any other car when I do weathering. I use craft paints, the acrylics, like this, and I just get things, and I use just a regular paintbrush, and I do all of my weathering with making the acrylic paint like almost as thin as ink. And especially when I start doing graffiti, it really is as thin as ink. Because I don't like brush strokes. I don't want you to see brush strokes. The whole idea of having it is make it look like spray paint. So as you can see, it's nice and flat. And this was from a lot of work to get this nice and flat. I actually had to come up with a new technique to get that to actually work right. What happens with acrylic paints on the Roundhouse finishes is it pools and it bubbles. And you really have to do coat after coat after coat to get it smooth and even. It just sits on the car. It doesn't work well. I don't know if people, probably with airbrush and thinner base paints, probably you don't have this issue, but with something where you have to work, because you have to keep the acrylics really wet to work with them well, and to do the fades and everything that I like to do. And like I said, I'll show you some examples of other cars that are not Roundhouse cars, and you'll be able to see the difference in the weathering on those versus these. But anyway, this is what it looks like. And now don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking Roundhouse. I love Roundhouse cars. I think they're one of the best ones to put together. I like their overall style. The proportions are really good. Handrails are kind of, appropriate instead of big, thick, chunky things. They give you enough weight in them. It's just if you like doing custom work on cars, they're terrible, absolutely terrible to work with. So anyway, take it for what it's worth. This is my opinion on these cars. I'm going to show you some here in just a minute to just do a comparison. But anyway, this is how it kind of looks. Next stages will be putting the second and third coats on the graffiti to get the fade look in there, and then start doing the outlining and the paint that goes around the whole thing to make it stand out better. So I'll get there. It's just this is going to take me about 4 times as long as it normally takes me. So I'm going to pause this for a minute, and I'll show you a difference in the overall look. This is one we just featured in another video. This is a Walther's car, an air slide. The weathering, you can just see, when you start to build layers, it looks real. Their finishes on their cars, while they're great, protects the car and everything, allows you to really work on them. I mean, I'll try to get in on this so you can really kind of see, if it'll focus for me, if you can see the differences. You don't see brush strokes. It just looks like aged metal is what I really go for on this. You can see the rust. I wish I had a little better light in here right now. The graffiti is smooth. First coat on there, no problem. I can build up coats. This is actually like, I think 3 coats of each color on there. And there's not a single bit of buildup. It's all smooth and flat. So it just works perfectly. So these are just great, great kits to work on. I'll show you an Athearn next, and you'll be able to see on it as well. Here's an Athearn. This one also, their finishes are really good, makes things really simple. You can get great effects using just acrylic and water to get what you want for your streaks and everything. It just comes out perfectly. And again, the graffiti comes out smooth and just perfect. So again, this is just a problem, and I found this with any car I've done with Roundhouse. It's been the same way. The gondolas I've done, the 2 gondolas out of the 8 had issues, just like I'm facing with the rapid discharges over there, the SSIX. So it's just whatever hard finish they put on them. But anyway, you can just see all of these. Weathering is just exactly how I like to get it. Easy to work with, great surfaces. So anyway, I'll show you one more, and then we'll go back to the other, and I'll wrap it up. This was another Walthers container car. You can see it just takes the weathering perfectly. I can do whatever I want to with any Walthers, Athearn, Atlas cars, any of those. And I can get the exact effect I'm looking for. So anyway, that gives you an example of what is a finish you can work with and what causes problems. So now that I gave you those examples, you can see why there's quite a difference and why I'm not fond of this. I'll build roundhouses for myself, but I just probably won't do any weathering on, or just very light. When I want to do a heavy project, I just will certainly not select a roundhouse for a car. But anyway, I hope this was informative for you, and if you use acrylics, I hope this helps your choice of what to work on. If you have any questions, please feel free to send us a message about it, and thanks for watching. And again, if you've liked any of our videos and on our reviews or anything, please like and subscribe. Thank you.